Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session to help a client that had a fear of birds, and specifically a fear of pigeons. And there's a few things going on here, but it actually uses this idea of experiencing something that they didn't have a fear of. And there were certain animals that were of a similar size. They didn't really feel fear. And it's about mapping that resource across to pigeons from a first-person perspective. And it uses certain metaphors to get them to the point where they're not in the experience, but they're experiencing it as if it's a first-person perspective. So it's training the very neural pathways to feel either silly, ambivalent, curious, funny, confident around things that look like pigeons. And the reason I use the phrase things that look like pigeons is that let's just say, for example, that you had a very, very good special effects company that do Hollywood things, and they created a robot that looked like a pigeon. For someone that had a fear of pigeons, the fact that it looks like a pigeon would probably create the same level of anxiety as if it was a pigeon until they knew it was a little robot, and then they might not feel any anxiety at all. And it's that reframe of something that looks like a pigeon, but taking the anxiety away. So it might be that you do have a fear of pigeons. It might be that you have a fear of a different animal or a different trigger. The structure behind this is the same, and that is to map a resourceful state across to the state which is currently making you feel anxious or unresourceful. Whatever your trigger is, we can work on that. And if you like the idea of a bespoke session, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule that free consultation call over Zoom. For now, though, you might get some value from this, even if you don't have a fear of pigeons. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and on the outward breath, that's it. Just allow your eyelids to relax. And with your eyes closed, notice how you can give more of your attention to the sound of my voice. Breathing in relaxation and exhaling tension. That's it. Breathing in that feeling of pure calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, I want you to scan your body for any clues of anxiety, stress, or worry. Maybe a sensation around your chest. And just imagine that melting away so that on your outward breath, it feels like it's leaving your body, no longer in you, just going out there into the air. And I want you to think of a color that would represent a combination of love and courage. Maybe two colors, like a spiral fusing together. And as you breathe in, just imagine breathing in that cocktail of love and courage, breathing in that resourceful feeling. And as you exhale, just allow any remaining anxiety, worry, or tension, and imagine it leaving your body, almost like grey shadows leaving your body in that outward breath. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the more your imagination awakens. And I want you to imagine how it would feel to be in a futuristic laboratory. Just imagine a scientist wearing a white coat, showing you an advanced virtual reality headset. And when you wear this headset, you could imagine being somewhere else, but you're not. You're still in the laboratory. It's just that your brain thinks it's somewhere else. The scientist explains that the first phase is to activate a wonderful feeling of love and connection with animals. He asks you to put the headset on. And as you put the headset on, imagine being teleported to a place filled with fluffy dogs. Consider this place dog park, and dog park only has dogs. I want you to imagine it being filled with the cutest, friendliest dogs. As you walk around dog park, imagine seeing golden retrievers, Labradors. Perhaps you could imagine seeing poodles and doodles, Yorkshire Terriers, even an Irish Red Setter. You can see all these fluffy dogs, friendly, fluffy dogs. And notice, these dogs can be unpredictable, and that makes them adorable. They can be playful, wanting to jump up or lick, and that makes them even cuter. I want you to get a sense that this is activating a wonderful feeling within you, a feeling of love, connection. Notice how you're smiling, looking at these friendly dogs. And the more dogs there are, the happier you feel that these animals create something wonderful in you. And I want you to see the most adorable dog in dog park, the cutest face, maybe imagining it yapping or barking in a friendly way. Imagine feeling the sensation of the fur on your skin as you imagine stroking or tickling that dog. And the dog loves it. The dog loves your attention, your affection. your touch. And notice where in your body you feel this wonderful feeling. And just make that feeling expand and grow. And at that point in time, I want you to imagine wiggling your toes. At the point you feel this wonderful sense of love and connection. That's it, wiggle your toes right now, so that wiggling your toes in the future will make you feel this wonderful feeling with animals. That's it. I want you to imagine the dogs are still there in dog park. And remember, this is just virtual reality, nothing real. I want you to imagine there is just a single feather there on the floor of dog park, and you still feel wonderful, still feel confident and comfortable. And just imagine picking up that single feather like it's nothing, like it's just a piece of paper or a stick. And just imagine tickling the dogs with that feather, and they love it. You're holding the feather, and the dogs like the sensation, perhaps of the feather on their nose or on their bellies if they're lying down. And allow that feeling of love, connection, and happiness to transfer from the dogs and you into the feather. So now the idea of a feather also triggers this wonderful feeling. And just imagine holding the feather and wiggling your toes and feeling that feathers are cute, just like dogs. I want you to think of the cutest breed of dog you can imagine. But I want you to imagine, because this is just virtual reality, this incredibly cute dog with its playful attitude is a dog without fur and only feathers. It's a dog with feathers. I want you to get a sense that when you touch the feathers, it feels soft, just like the fur used to. And all the other dogs have fur, but there's just one dog. A smiley, happy, playful dog that just happens to have feathers. Here in dog park, you notice how much love and affection you feel for that dog with feathers. The fact that it's different doesn't make it less valuable as a dog, doesn't make it undesirable. It just happens to be a dog with feathers. And if you can feel that feeling of connection with that dog with feathers, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine it being maybe 1 meter or 2 meters away, trying to engage you, trying to play with you. Maybe it's got a ball or a stick. Maybe it drops it at your feet and then runs away, hoping you're going to throw the ball or the stick. Just imagine this dog with feathers is like all of the other dogs. It just happens to have feathers. And I want you to feel that any sensation in your chest that is anxious is just leaving your body in your outward breath. Breathing in, there's 2 colors of love and courage. As part of you knows that there is something in your past that you want to get over, to change. And what if this cute dog with feathers is helping you? in the same way that a guide dog might help a blind person. What if this dog was sent to you to help you with a different condition? See its playful nature. It just happens to have feathers. I want you to get a sense that by seeing the playful nature of this dog, suddenly the feathers become secondary to the personality and character of this dog. I want you to imagine a park right next door to Dog Park, filled with tiny, tiny dogs. The smallest breeds of dogs or big dogs that have shrunk down. And just imagine dogs the same size as kittens in that separate park. And they look cute and friendly. And just imagine spending some time with those friendly, cute, tiny dogs. And when you feel that sense of love and connection with these tiny dogs, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine these dogs can talk. And these dogs are also going to help you. These cute, tiny little dogs are going to try and convince you that they're an animal that they're not. So imagine the dogs running away. Just imagine a tiny little clothes shop or a fancy dress shop. And in there are pigeon outfits. These tiny little dogs go into this store and come out dressed as pigeons. They're not pigeons. They're tiny little dogs. Tiny little dogs dressed as pigeons. And every now and then you can see a waggling tail underneath that pigeon outfit. But these are not pigeons, they're dogs dressed as pigeons. I want you to get a sense that even though they look a little like pigeons, they're not pigeons. And I want you to feel that same feeling of love and connection, of kindness for these tiny little dogs dressed as pigeons. And just wiggle your toes and feel that playful, kind feeling within you. And you could imagine 5 dogs or 10 or even 15 just dressed as pigeons, and just imagine with their little doggy voices trying to convince you. Maybe they're saying, "I am a pigeon." It doesn't convince you, but you think it's cute that a little dog is pretending to be a pigeon and trying its hardest to convince you. Because they've got pigeon outfits. The pigeon outfits are made of feathers. Not real feathers, just an outfit of feathers. I want you to get a sense that these little dogs are trying their best to do impressions of pigeons. They're trying to coo, make those little sounds that pigeons make, but they're not pigeons, they're just little dogs pretending to be pigeons. And notice you can still feel that calm, comfortable feeling, that combination of love and courage connected to these pretend pigeons. And one dog in particular has got a very convincing outfit that looks exactly like a pigeon, but it isn't a pigeon. It's just a convincing outfit. And I want you to imagine allowing that little dog to hop up on your lap or in your hands, and it isn't a pigeon. It just looks like a pigeon. And I want you to imagine holding it, stroking it, giving it that affection, knowing that just by imagining it this close, you are eroding the very foundation of an old fear that you want to change. Every time you imagine touching this dog dressed as a pigeon, the fear gets weaker. Every time you imagine the sensation of your fingers on feathers, the fear gets weaker. Every time it's close by, the fear gets weaker. Consider this training at altitude, because in real life you would never hold a pigeon, never touch a pigeon. But by imagining holding and touching a dog dressed as a pigeon, the very next time you see a pigeon, you will come to the conclusion that if in your imagination you can imagine holding a dog that looks like a pigeon, then you could imagine walking by a pigeon, perhaps a few feet away. Allow your mind to update a belief. For a long while, you believed that pigeons made you feel a certain way, but it was never the pigeon that made you feel that way. It was just associations, connotations and connections. And allow your mind to update those associations, connotations and connections. I want you to feel that a pigeon is just an animal, and animals don't have malicious intentions. They just are. And I want you to feel that you are cutting a connection, a cord, to a historical belief that's been holding you back. And as you imagine cutting that cord, feel that the historical associations and connections of pigeons are now in your past and not in your present or future. And when you're ready to cut that cord of the past, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Just imagine some shiny scissors literally cutting a string, a cable, a cord, or a rope, connecting to these past associations. At some point in your childhood, you connected the look or sound of a pigeon with something to be disgusted or afraid of, but that was your past. And ever since then, that's just been playing out as if it's real. But now that the cord is cut, the connection only belongs in your past and not in your future. So just imagine still wearing this VR headset, but going to a future where it's only your past that created a connection. And imagine arriving in Italy. Imagine being in St. Peter's Square, not in reality, just in this virtual reality representation of St. Peter's Square. See a magnificent cathedral. But now, imagine seeing pigeons and feeling ambivalent, neutral, or even sympathy, but certainly no anxiety. Just imagine how that would feel. To imagine walking around this large square, seeing the magnificent architecture and feeling neutral, feeling ambivalent. The pigeons are there, but they're of no concern to you. Just feel that and make your way towards the cathedral. Imagine going inside and seeing the stunning interior of this cathedral. And then imagine leaving back into the square, knowing that pigeons are there, but they don't bother you anymore. Feel how you would feel if that was true. To feel that a connection has been broken. I want you to get a sense that every time you listen to this recording, your brain is building new neural pathways, new ways of thinking to give you a choice. And maybe soon or maybe later, your brain will choose this new way of thinking. To either see pigeons as cute or simply indifferent, no different from a bird that doesn't bother you at all. And if your unconscious is open-minded to that new shift, that new connotation, that change, either now or in the future, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And you can wait for this change to happen. And maybe it happens in a dream where you imagine being with pigeons and feeling okay. Or maybe something surprises you. A future trip or holiday vacation to a place in a city. And imagine feeling a sense of confusion. A pigeon is nearby, but it no longer bothers you. And that may very well be the evidence that the change has happened for good. But for now, just remain open to the possibility. And imagine returning to that futuristic laboratory where the scientist removes this headset. But with it, wiggle your toes and feel that you can activate wonderful feelings and how you used to feel. With pigeons has somehow changed. Maybe slowly or completely. Very soon, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, but in this moment, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Start to connect and calibrate to the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.